Boniface Mwangi made a very sensitive revelation of what happened to him when he was detained by the Tanzanian government. As always, it is the bitter things in life that matter. That philosophy is going to serve critically well on this video. And I'd like to add on top of that a new philosophy that ningetaka kila msee mwenye ananisikiza aweze kuinterpreti kitu. This philosophy nimeitwa kwa The Psychology of Money. That is a book by someone called Morgan Housel. And in this book, his first chapter, he begins by telling you this quote. Hii quote inasemaje? What we do influences 10 to the power of -7 of the world. And how the actions that we take in this world are influenced by 80% of our experiences in this world. In short, Kenya hapo hivyo kwa wale watu wenye wapendi kusoma, acha niwainterpretie Kenya inamaanisha. That means that through the experiences that you've had from childhood to where you are, hizo ndio vitu zenye zinakusaidia to know ama to make the decisions that you make in life and to take certain actions that you take in your life. Whatever experiences, either traumatic, either great, ama tutazitaje magnificent experiences, all this influence who you really are. Naweza taka kutuone ni aje tutashikanisha hii topic na topic ya today ya Boniface Mwangi. And without further ado, tunaanza like this.
They got me out. I was still handcuffed and blindfolded, and they told me to strip naked. Then they lifted me up. They lifted me up and tied me upside down. There's a photo I saw online about what they did to us. It's in my bag. We can distribute when I'm done talking. So we were put on upside position where my legs were up like this. My body's up. I'm stuck naked. And then they said, "Weka moto." So some guy put lubricant in my rectum, in my anus, and then started inserting objects. Insert objects and pull it out. I was screaming so hard I couldn't even. There was no tears coming out because of how painful it was. One of them said put his hand in his mouth, so they put my hand in my mouth and they would tell me stop screaming. The kids are sleeping. And that session is where they said they're gonna rape Agatha. That guy called my phone and said he's gonna rape Agatha.
Shit, man. You see, this is a very emotional thing. It is not every day that you see ama you witness a man crying in front of people. Either kwa sababu hii dunia yenye tunaishi mimi sijui, I'm not involved with whatever happened or whatever thing they are trying to push onto the media, but I'm just giving you guys my 2 cents. Unacheki? This might be real, this might not be real, but at the end of the day, we're going to get something out of it. So, it is not always a good thing. Ukicheki a man crying in public, inaletanga some sort of, kuna venye tu, haidai bana, haidai, wacha tu niseme haidai. Iyo rada, si rada, yenye inaweza kubamba, si situation yenye utaangalia hivi ukue like, mwanaume. Unacheki, ni kumaanisha kuna a lot of emotions involved in this kind of situation. Yeah? So Kenya wamemfanyia, hiyo ni kitu terrible sana. Mimi naweza sema that's a humiliation ritual. Inaweza kuwa ni they just wanted to humiliate him so that they may deter him from being active in the things that he do. And before we continue, who is Boniface Mwangi?
We are the bosses, and next week, if they do not respond to our demands, we're back in the streets. We're coming back in the streets. By force, by fire, we're back in the streets. Kama unakutuma kuja tuwe mtu basi.
Boniface Mwangi is a Kenyan activist. He documented the 2007-2008 post-election vita yenye ili happen, and his images were very much showing what critically happened, and that's how most people got to know him. That's how he really became an activist. He has done very many other critical things kama kupeleka pigs mbele ya parliament as a form of imagery to say something like shame on you politicians, something like that. He has also created avenues ama platforms for artists to come and express themselves in a Power 254.
We are here today. We are being vindicated by the courts. We are free.
Yes.
We are going home.
Yes.
But you can't go home yet without talking about our brothers and sisters who are missing.
Yes.
The DCI and NIS took these 3 men.
Yes.
They were abducted by the state.
Yes.
There's evidence. The court gave a court order for the police to produce them. They have refused to produce them.
Yes.
When our president, our lying president, goes around and says, there are no missing people, these are the missing people.
Tunasema is a Kenyan activist that influences most young people to challenge the status quo. Yeah? That is Boniface Mwangi. Given that nimekuexplainia what this guy has done, you can understand that he has crossed and brushed very many shoulders, especially the people who are calling shots or people who are in power. Because to be an activist, you are going to fight critically for the people, and it is not easy for you to sell out. So did he really sell out ama kuliendaje? Juu the other day tulikuwa tunaona watu wanachachisha pale kwa BBC documentary of what went down, but at the end of the day that BBC documentary also covered what really happened kwa ground. Yeah. And as I was listening to this whole hour interview of him, Boniface Mwangi, and Agatha describing to us what happened to them, I realized that these were people who have lived their lives looking over their shoulder because they have interfered with the income ama ni the power of very many other people kwa society, sindio? Juu alikuwa anasema kwanza Agatha alikuwa anasema I always knew this time will come, because they know what they are doing. And that brings me to the philosophy yenye tumeanza nayo hii clip. That philosophy tumesema it is the thing that you do in a affect the world that you live in 10 to the power of -7. So hiyo ni vitu zenye unafanya zina affect kiasi sana, but according to research, the actions that you take in this world, they are wholly influenced by things like tutaitaje the experience this zenye umepitia. So this experience yenye these 2 activists wamepitia, we are going to see it shape them. Either they are going to fold, warudi back, warudi chupa, or they are going to fight harder, and we are actually going to see what will happen to them. In short, hiyo kitu venye pia na relate to wewe ni imagine you have a phone, or just imagine you are watching me over your phone, right? The phone you have has a camera. The camera that you have is not the same for everyone. It's not like we are all using a standard camera. Different phones have different cameras. By that I mean ziko na different megapixels za kushoot. Kuna mtu atapiga picha hivi na simu, akiangalia hiyo simu iko na akiangalia the image that has been produced by the phone, ana realize it looks a little bit muddy. Huyo ako na low megapixels kwa simu yake, haiwezi tumiwa kama a professional thing. Ukiangalia msemo mwingine anaweza kuwa na a camera on their phone that has high megapixels, maybe tuseme 108 megapixels. If you shoot with now a camera like that one, inaweza kuwa a little bit professional, nanpata. Then if you now take these two things, the lens that these phones are looking out towards na vitu kaa hizi, hiyo inakupatia a great example of what you have said. Ina capture differently. The image in output ni different, even though it's the image of the same thing. Sijui kama mnanielewa. Sijui nitumie analogy gani ingine sasa. Haya, the other analogy I'd use, msee mwenye ako US akiona hii video ama interact na watu, ni different kumuelewa kwa sababu ya experiences zenye amepitia na venye zimemold akakuwa somebody totally different and the way they are speaking. Then uendo angalia on the far end, msee mwenye ametoka ghetto ndani kabisa, like utaelewa. Aya, with that said, what do you think? Is this whole situation true or is it false? Or do they want an escalation of what just happened between Kenya versus Tanzania? Do they want that escalation thing to continue? Like, do they want that situation to escalate such that we will be enemies with Tanzania? What do you think? Tell me what you think down in the comments below. Some other people on X I have seen, they think that this was orchestrated by some powerful people in our governments because they are saying our government has a hand inside the most East African government. So if they did this to them, they did this to them when they were not really expecting it. Ndio iwapatie ikuwe funzo, ikuwe funzo kwa wengine wenye watajaribu kufanya kitu kaa hii. Other than that, it's a very perturbing matter, and especially what happened to Boniface, this was manze ilikuwa a strong humiliation ritual. I hope he gets well. I hope ataendelea kufanya vitu zenye amekuwa akifanya, ataendelea kuwa an inspiration to the young people. And without further ado, let me know what you think down in the comments below. YouTube thinks you might be interested in the video on your screen at the moment. Click on that video so that we may continue to connect.